Hi, everybody. Hello. Let's see. I got Anita, Tuxedo, Cardamom C, Anita, Clarence, Patsy, Patricia. Hello. Let me go in here because I don't know what I'm doing. Hopefully this thing will load. Elizabeth, Monique. Hey, Peggy. How you doing? Hey, Pamela and Renee and Linda Bishop. How you doing? Rocking out, Peggy? Are you rocking out? Let's see here. Bam Bam, Cece, Freda, what's up? Renee, Feisty, how you doing? Hey, Pamela. Carmen, lucky girl. I'm back, girlfriend. I'm back, Peggy. Let's see. Hey, sweet darling Lulu and Susan, Bev, Sherry Ann, Aloha, Deba. I think I said your name right. Deba Kell. Hello. Cheryl Tyler. Oh, thanks so much, Cheryl. Letting everybody know to hit the thumbs up. That'd be great. Let's see. Hey, Liz. Thanks, Peggy. Thank you so much. Hey, Sag. Nora. Pamela, you're drinking cocktails? Is that what? That's a lot of cocktails to be drinking. Let's see. What do you have? You have some margarita, a Mai Tai, something in a coconut, champagne, wine, more champagne, lots of beer and coffee. That girl, that's a lot. Tonight's GT Renee is DJT. Says it in the title, my dear. Thank you, Bam Bam. The cocktails are for the group. Well, thank you, Pamela. You're so thoughtful. I'm over here with my sippy cup of water. Donnie the Orange Menace, Spanky, Mango Mussolini. What other names do we have for him? Oh, man. Goodness gracious. So how's everybody doing? Everybody doing okay? Everybody doing okay? Extreme Brands. Russian Agent Trump. Overworked, huh? Oh, there's a good one. Roses and Bees, Bunker Boy. Diaper Dawn. Remember that one? Agent Orange. Oh, Lord. The Yeti. Yep, that's from Lena, Dr. Lena Rodriguez. You got a new roof and gutters? Well, congratulations. Hi, Polly Wanda. He that shall not be named. Oh, goodness. The Orange Mussolini. Clown Work Orange. Clown Work. Oh, goodness. Pumpkinhead. Oh, God. Clown Show. Thank you, GM. Hey, Stephanie. Martin. Hey, Johnny. How are you, my dear? No notification, huh? Johnny, it does it to me with you too. And I keep trying. This is what I keep doing. I keep unsubscribing, resubscribing, re-hitting the bell notification. I never get notified about anything ever, ever. So I don't know. Hey, Pamela. Thank you, lucky girl. That never helps you either, Johnny? Yeah, me neither. I'm over it. Damn you, YouTube. Damn you. Mm-mm-mm. Johnny, I don't know if you saw my text, but today I went outside and I saw on my big ginormous the night blooming jasmine. I saw aphids on that thing today. I went out there and I went ham, Johnny. I went totally ham. That poor plant was covered in so many freaking suds because I did what Jenny told me to do, where I used the Dawn dish soap and water and hey, sunflower. I sprayed the crap out of it. It was like a mountain of suds. And then I let it sit there for a little bit and then I rinsed it all off and I didn't see any, but I looked on the internet. Dawn bomb. That's right. I Dawn bombed it, Johnny. I looked on the internet and it said to do it every 2 to 3 days for 2 weeks. So I have my little squirter bottle ready because I'm like, this plant, the other one, they just destroyed it. I mean, the leaves are all messed up. Like it looks like it wants to have flowers, but it's just so damaged from the aphids that it won't. But the big one is full of flowers, Johnny. And when I went out there, I showed Peanut last night. I went out there and he smelled and he was like, oh, wow. Because like you don't even have to stick your face in the flowers. You can just smell it as soon as you go outside. And it smells so pretty, so pretty. And I'm like, I will kill you all before you kill my plants. I know the ladybugs, but ladybugs here, Pam, are super expensive. Like, because I was going to go get ladybugs and praying mantis. And I called Lowe's and I called Armstrong Garden Center, and Lowe's was $14.99. Armstrong was $16.99 for a thing of ladybugs. And I was like, Dawn dish soap it is. So, yep. So I got to wait 2 days and then I'm going to go out there and kill them again. I don't see any on there now, though. I think I sprayed them all off, but. So I waged war. And then my tomato plants, they're all naked because from that storm we had a few weeks ago, and it drowned the plant. So a bunch of leaves turned yellow, and then they started like falling off. So I went out there and trimmed them, and they're like, my poor tomato plants look all naked, but they're making a bunch of tomatoes. And I picked some today. The I forget what they're called. The honey something hybrid. And they're like these tiny little tomatoes, like that big, and they were orange. So I picked them. We only had 6 and we ate them, and they were really good. They were super, super juicy and sweet. So there's a whole bunch of them on there that need to change to ripen, and then we'll eat those too because it was very tasty. Very, very tasty. So let's see here, y'all. Let's see here. So I was telling Johnny and Jenny, because I realized something after we did Mark Meadows's Grand Tableau, and I want to thank KARIN, who was in here helping me out. And she suggested that I look at book or letter. to see charges. Well, we had discussed book, and book sits on child. Child is number 13. Reduced down to a single digit, that's 4. So when I looked at child, child is up here. And it says that they have success, but they take away. And then 2 here. Well, when I look at letter, letter is sitting on crossroads. Crossroads is right next to it, sitting on mice, and then mice is right next to it. So crossroads is double. So here it's saying 2 of these, so 2 plus another 2 here with crossroads, that's 4. Take away and then 2. That's what's left over here. Well, when I look at clover, he's sitting on clover. So I'm thinking, if I'm interpreting this correctly, it's going to be quite possibly 2. May start with 4 and they take away and he ends up with 2. But we'll see. We'll see about that. I have the notes here. Like I said, this is not anytime soon. We're looking at around October, November for all the stuff that we talked about on the last GT for Mark Meadows, for all this to come out October, November timeframe. And then it goes this way. And that's when the shit hits the fan. So for Spanky, this is the Spanky GT. I'm going to set it out. I did this one on the 5th, so 5 days ago. Let me see. Okie dokie. So let me set this out. I'm over here in the dark like a mushroom. Hi, Debbie and Robin and Pamela. Oh, you guys, I went on Etsy, and the lady that makes these, the tiles, she has a little board as well. And I went ahead and ordered it because I get a lot of questions about, I keep getting, I guess there's new people coming in that are not familiar with the GTs. So I keep getting a bunch of questions about houses and all that stuff. Well, the lady that makes these, hey, Marie, how are you? She also makes a Grand Tableau board. She does the 8x4+4, which is the format that I prefer, and she does the 9x4. So I went ahead and ordered it, and it has not yet shipped. But hopefully that'll help for the new people, because I know it can be a little bit confusing for the new stuff. So let me see if I can set this thing out. I don't know what I'm doing over here. Okay, hopefully that helps. Nope. There. Hey, Tina, thank you. Let me go back over here. Wait. Let me see. Hopefully that's in frame. Thanks, Tina. You are amazing. It's okay. It's okay, Pamela. It's can be a little bit. So how's everybody doing on this lovely Tuesday? we? 31. 33. 26. 7. 2. 2, 2, 2, 2. 20. Did I go to the ear doctor? Are you talking to me, Pamela? Clouds. House. Mountain. Mountain. Oh, no, I have not gone to the ear doctor yet. I've been running around doing stuff. I should go, though. Just because my hearing is all messed up. Well, it's service related, but whatever. Whatever. 25. 3. 16. 27. 19. 10. 14. 35. Maybe I should move it a little bit over this way. 35. 1. 24. 11. 34. 9. 29. 32. 23. 22. And 15. Let's see here. Okay, I think that's in frame. I hope so. Because if not, that would suck. Ay, ay, ay. Okie dokie. Had to get up and get the the cards that are in there. Hey, Steven. Hey, can I get some thumbs up, you guys? That would be fantastical. It's in frame? Okay, good. Thanks. Is it a dumpster fire? Ay, yay. All righty. So, let's see here. Where's my little pen? So, this is talking about some long-awaited news that perhaps may be coming in closer to winter time. that looks closer to winter. Quite possibly closer to the winter, maybe around February-ish time frame, where there's some feedback. We're going to be hearing about some new projects that he may have been working on, perhaps to do with commerce, but also foreign commerce. It's going to be long, drawn-out disputes, but ultimately it's a loss for Spanky McSpankerton. Those within his immediate entourage will be coming in to testify, blowing the whistle, speaking up about how they were all involved in some sort of agreement to delay and obstruct something in official proceeding. That's the center of the tableau. He is not doing very well. There may be something going on with his health. Even though Tree appears far from him, it still sits in its own house. But it's like he's got high hopes, but he's not doing very, very well. All the thing there's almost like there's some sort of depression or illness here because he's got coffin right underneath him. And it's looking like whatever he tried to bury and keep secret comes out anyways, because he's got keys sitting on book. There's going to be, hold on. There's a situation that he's involved with currently where it's very, very, very difficult for him to make any progress on. Like he can't. Changes is just very difficult. Very, very, very difficult. Whatever opportunities and success he's hoping for eventually gets delayed. He hits a roadblock. So there's a level of frustration around him in regards to that. He's sitting in a pretty good position because he lands here in the first row. So we have all of this. So he's basically clear of all baggage for now. I'll say that again. For now. Because he's definitely got some he's got some charges coming. He's got some problems coming. So right up here we see Lily sitting on Ryder. Long-awaited news that arrives in regards to a new project that he's been, or new secrets and knowledge, but those eventually become revealed. And it has to do with a project that was being worked on with those that were close to him within his entourage. Cloud sits on house is right beneath it. Problems, big confusion, gaslighting in regards to people within his entourage where they were trying to block something from the public, and those people were within his own structure because it's followed here by Dog, and he sits on Storks, and Dogs is here. So these people get found out. There's also problems in regards to phone calls, meetings, negotiations, that were had in regards to this entire agreement to betray and block. And that was the agreement that was had here. It was an agreement to obstruct. And then you have Mountain sitting on Garden, Ring sitting on Mountain, and then Tower sitting on crossroads. So it's almost like there was an agreement to obstruct and delay something official from being delivered this way, only to please him. Okay. For him in the courts, he's not going to have luck there. You have Clover that sits on Tower, but it's blocked here with Mountain. What's this thing going? This is like an illness and depression, and he's got Tree way up here. Also an ending to things that he values, quite possibly his marriage or contracts and other agreements that were made, because Coffin is sitting on Ring. So let me see here. If he's hoping to make progress over the next year, it's not going to happen. There's an ending here. There's a loss. Here it's showing that progress is very difficult and there's trouble for him. Also trouble, big trouble around properties and his family. Big trouble around the property and family. Confusion in the family, confusion around properties. There's something going on here with properties that it's like, it's bad, y'all. Property agreements. This could be like leases. House sits on Birds and Birds right next to it. Birds is in house child. Ooh. Lord have all the mercy. That's bad. That's really bad. Because you got Cloud sits on house and house right underneath it with Mountain right here. Family and properties, and those within his entourage, his immediate circle of people that he talks to, that he negotiated with, that he thought were reliable and would do things in his favor. All of that gets busted right here. But if I read house as property comes under a lot of strain around November, because this is August, September, October, November, this way. Something around his properties in November. Let me see here. Okay, September. There's some sort of a new burden for him, perhaps something that he's going to have to cut off and sacrifice in order for him to be successful. But that involves a person that may have been a friend at one point, loyalist, someone that guided him through problems, and that person's secrets are revealed here down this column. So I'm not sure if we're talking Weaselberg or someone else within his circle. The dog has ship right next to it. So it could be that other guy that just got busted, the California guy. What was his name? Tom Barrack, maybe. Because there's exposure here and access to secrets or access to a project this person was working on in that context. Let me see here. And over here, alrighty. Read simply, a secret betrayal gets found out because it's lucky for the community or the party. And then the results of that. Clover sits on Tower. A win in the courts. Snake sits on Whip. Repeated chronic lying. Ship. Book sits on Ship. Okay, hold on. If I read this in regards to campaign stuff, oh boy. Because a garden is a congregation of people where there's a large party, where people network, a very large gathering. And it sits on house letter. But mountain sits on house garden. So if this is in regards to, what do you call this? His campaign money or money that he's raising from loyalists here, his fans, his loyalists, there's stuff that goes missing there, and it starts losing and losing and losing, and it's losing money. It sits on mice. And here it says it has a big problem. Big, huge problem. Let me see here. There's something here in regards to quite possibly one of his siblings, that he's in agreement with for commerce this way. And it looks like it's around properties, but I thought he was the only one in his family that had that was in the real estate stuff. But there's something here around a sibling that he's joined with in regards to business ventures, and it looks like it could quite possibly be a woman. Also, there may be some growing problems here in his marriage, and his wife is also distancing, which kind of makes sense because he sits here and she sits over here. Just by that, it's distant. And then coffin sits on ring. So if I try to get both of these to talk, not happy, dead, kaput. Let's see here. Hey, Spanky. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call you Spanky Peanut. I didn't mean to call you that. That's horrible. I'm so sorry. There may be something here with widespread legal notices and decisions that are being made by a judge this way. Ongoing, the result of ongoing investigations this way, it's what's desired, but it's not favorable to him. And then here's Rico. Because there's the abuse, and then there's the consulting here, not finances, but money, and then gifts, and then her. Let me see. That's a quick and dirty on that one. Let me see here. Sorry, I got all this stuff in my face. Did I follow this around? Yes, I did. Okie dokie. Tower's here. Whip is here. It does at night, but it's on the diagonal. And then this sits on Tower. Okay, so this goes this way. Several courts. Several. There's more than one court issue and court problem. Okay, because this sits on Tower, this sits Crossroads. More than one. And also to do with elections because it sits on Crossroads. But that shows up in January over here. So voicemails to achieve a result, to maintain power and secure finances. Bird sits on Child. Letter on Fox. Anchor on Bear. Conversations that were recorded to achieve a result, to achieve power, to stay in power because it sits on Bear. And also something here about voicemails and negotiations, perhaps to do with paperwork to secure financing as well. News of the agreements that were made with institutions, but it's more than one institution, and it has to do with, in regards to agreements, agreements to delay at several institutions and the results of that, to steal, to take something away, losses, thievery. And then here we have a transition, was a desire to cancel a transition. Ship, transition, scythe, cancel. Here, heart would be desire. So that comes up this way, but the court itself sits on the column for January. Okay, hold on. Did I follow? No, I didn't. Okay. Okay, so if I follow this, long-awaited news to steal or corrupt, for the abundance of many was widespread confusion. For the House, they negotiated a small win with several institutions to maintain power. Guilty decision. That's like, that comes this way, and it starts here and it ends here. That looks more like around, what column is this? That looks more like around January of next year, which kind of makes sense because Child is 1 year minimum and Lily's is winter. So perhaps by the winter, or a little bit past the winter, is when the decision is made. There may also be here with letter referrals to a court, several courts. This could be Main Justice, DOJ, but we're looking at several courts here, though, not just one, because it sits on Crossroads. Let's see here. So I had asked, I'm going to ask the same questions here that I did for what's his name? Mark Meadows. And the first one that I have written down here on the notebook on the back side of the chart is, will DOJ investigate him for conspiracy? Well, here's your conspiracy. Agreement, write it down over here, steal, and delay elections this way. That gets transferred to for a decision. Okay, so I would say, would he get investigated for that? Yes. Second question, will DOJ investigate 45 for obstructing an official proceeding? Oh, and by the way, I got those questions off of the Washington Post article that was written by Lawrence Tribe, Barbara Wilcox, I think is her name, and Joy Vance. Oh God, I can't think of her name. Joyce Wine Vance, I think is her name. There was an article on the Washington Post, I think on the 5th, when I threw this tableau, and those were recommendations that they were saying. So I just wrote them down to see. But a conspiracy, yes, it's right here. An agreement to delay. And then ring sits on mountain. And then stealing, and then here elections. So I would say yes on that one. Will he be investigated for obstructing an illegal procedure? Where is... That would be these right here. An opportunity to obstruct government, because Clover sits on tower, mountain sits next to it on garden, ring sits on tower, and then what do you call this? Tower sits on crossroads. So it's not just Congress, it's several institutions where he was trying to obstruct here. So I would say, let me mark this down. Based on these 4 here, I would say yes. Let me see. Yes. Will they investigate him for racketeering? Well, here's racketeering. Here's Fox. And then Anchor right there. Let me see. Fox sits on Snake, investigating a betrayal, manipulating a lie. Whip sits on Coffin, chronic loss, or fighting with the loss. Anchor sits on Bear, securing and maintaining power. And Ship sits on Stars, so the many and how widespread it is, because it's more widespread than what we're seeing. And it's like you got stars sitting on clouds. Clouds is followed by tree. What we know right now, there's more, because this is saying that this cover up grows and just expands and expands and expands and expands. Because here's growth. Tree sits in its own house. And then stars sits on clouds. So it expands, it metastasizes. Also something health related here, because tree is very predominant in this spread. Something to do with health, that it's airborne, affects the lungs, metastasizes and spreads with stars on house clouds. So there may be something as well in regards to something COVID related here. If I read it this way, well, there's China right there. Huh? Yes, I did. There's China right here. Qian in French, China. As a thing, this could be injections, needles, syringes, scissors, rakes, anything sharp. So there may be something that comes up around this time frame and up here. If I look at these and then down here and this way, in regards to COVID vaccines, the transportation here to hospitals, delays, why things were delayed, who was in those meetings, why was it delayed? So that whole screw up comes up here as well. Let me see. I just saw that. Sorry, you guys. Let me see. Rico's like showing up here in this tiny little corner. And it sits close to Tower. Violation of the Hatch Act. Well, it would be here. Because of something he said that violates rules that are in law, legal. Quite possibly yes on that one. Inciting an insurrection. Here's the speech or what he said. Sits on child and gardens way down here. Does at night. No, but that may fall on Junior. Bird sits on child and child's got cross right under it. So there may be something that comes up on Junior here too next month. Okay, let's see here. Seditious conspiracy. I don't see it. Towers here. Storks is over there. I don't see that one. All right, so let me look at this. Okay, so I'm going to look here. Okay, so if I look at book like we did last time for charges, it sits on ship, which is number 3. If I look at letter, it sits on Fox, which is 14, reduces down to 5. The results of the investigation. And he sits on Storks, which is 17, reduces down to 8. And he's got Coffin right underneath him, which is 8. Hey, Dorcas. It sits on Fox, and Fox is 14, reduces down to 5. And Tree sits in its own house, which is 5. Give me 1 second while I'm thinking, you guys. Let me follow this chain. Okay, letter goes, I'm following the chain. I'm going to just pull it out so you guys can see it a little bit easier. Letter, fox, snaky, snake, you dirty bastard. Snake, whip, coffin. Mountain, whip, coffin, ring. 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 Mountain. Garden. Okay, do you guys understand how I get chains? Do I need to explain that again? You're good, Marie? You're good, and Sharon's good. Okay, so I followed the letter around. And this is what I get. I get letter, fox, snake, whip, coffin, ring, mountain, garden. The results of the investigation about repeated lies about a loss and the agreements that were made to obstruct from the entire network, the people that congregated. And it's many, you guys. It's a whole bunch of them. It's a whole bunch of them. Garden sits here next to Dog, and Dog is back on him, his loyalist. Access to the network of loyalists that were trying to cancel the transfer here, and a very passionate woman. But this is coming up ahead. This chain is talking about the whole network of buddies that he had. If you can see here, Garden is number 20. And you got Garden sitting right before Dog here. So I'm wondering if that's even like, if it's because it's got key sitting right before it. So I'm wondering if it's saying the answer is 20 of these loyalists. Like it may also be giving an amount that it's 20 people that were involved in this entire scheme. This way. To repeatedly lie, and they agreed to obstruct. And then there's the network. And we know from the letter, exactly, Diana, we know from the letter, the R congressman. Well, significant or important access here. Network. Loyalist. Friendly. People that can guide you and protect you. That way. And that's what comes out of the chain of this. So I'm wondering, Because I can only think, how many are in the Senate that we know of? Ted Cruz for sure. Josh Hawley for sure. But if I follow Dog up, Dog goes to House. And then, and then also Mountain sits on Garden. So it's not just the House and the Senate, you guys. It's like, well, we found out about that Clark guy. That was in the DOJ. That was circulating letters. So that was somebody outside of the Congress and the Senate. So there was an individual there. They were actually within the institution itself. And since you have Mountain here sitting on Garden, it's also people within the network, within his own structure, that had made agreements, and they all met and had hatched out a plan to do this, to delay an official proceeding. But I'm trying to see how many charges he gets. He sits on Storks. Storks is number 17, reduces down to 8, and he's got Coffin right below him, which is 8. If these are in regards to the phone calls that he was negotiating, that were recorded, and we saw the memos come out, the paperwork, there's the phone calls, there's paperwork. For an agreement to obstruct with several institutions. We know of Fox sits, letter goes to Fox, goes to Snake. So that's 27 to 14 to 7. That's 8, lucky girl, isn't it? The names that you just put out. I think I'm counting that correctly. I think I can count 8, but it's hard to tell because I got a light in my eyeball. That's 8. Okay, so 8 went. Okay. I mean, I'm trying to see how many charges, and it goes 27, 14, 7. Well, Bird sits on Child. Child is 13. Hey, thank you, Janny. We know that has it been documented that he made 7 phone calls total? Hi, Tina. Thank you. Has it been documented that he made 7 total? Because if I read letter, it sits on fox. Fox sits on snake, which is 7. But bird sits on child, which is 13. And that's just what's been reported. Because letter is sitting on fox. But child is telling me 13. 13 for the win. Because if I look at birds, it goes to child, which is 13. 13 goes to 2, which is clover. Then it goes to 19. So if we know of 7, there may be 6 more that we find out about, possibly, if I'm looking at numbers. Am I making any sense? So Diana, if I lump that up with the 8, that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, I think. So here's results. What's already, well, it's ahead of him. Okay, so this is what's coming up. The results of the investigation to repeatedly lie about the losses, to delay, and the agreement that was made from the network. Well, birds is where we look at for phone calls and negotiations. This sits on house 13. Child is number 13. 13 sits on 2, clover. Calling 13, hoping, with clover, number 2, hoping to win in several institutions, because clover goes back to tower, which sits on crossroads, which is 22. So we know about, wait, you guys, can you please remind me? Did he call 7 states tried to overturn the election? Georgia, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Michigan, Wisconsin. Does anybody know? Alabama. He called Alabama? That would be 7. So 7. We count DOJ, that's 8, right? If I look at birds, this sits on 13. That means we got 5 more, and tree sits in its own house, which is 5. So there may be more phone calls that he made, not just to DOJ, but to others. Okay, hold on. Jenny, I am so glad you're here. Can you please help me out? How many states did Donald Trump call? Okay, let's see. Diana saying Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, Wisconsin, Nevada. Okay, he called 6. Now we're finding out about DOJ, which is 7. If this is phones, this sits on 13. calling 13 for the win. And then you got tree right above it that says grows. And here it says it metastasizes and spreads. So we shall see if we hear about more. If we are at, what did you guys say, 7? I know each call is a charge, Mother Earth, but this is saying 13, if I'm interpreting it correctly. Diana, I think you're right. Clark had letters and emails drafted for 7 states. So we're not looking at each one being a charge. I'm trying to figure out how many places he called, and it's sitting on 13. So besides the state, he may have also called several government institutions besides DOJ, because it's Tower sitting on crossroads. So official elections, several institutions. So we could be talking states as well as government, because it's Tower. So there may be 5 more that we hear about this way. Well, yeah. You know, that's 5 over the bird. And that's saying 13. If I'm reading this correctly. So if I was looking, last time we looked at book for charges on what's his face, Mark Meadows. Well, if I look ahead, this is something that is going to take a while, because of Lily's. It may be that the news arrives closer to the winter or around winter time, because you have Lily sitting on Ryder, and Ryder sits in the column for February. So this could be that quite possibly around February, if I'm reading it this way, because Lily sits on Ryder. I find Ryder, I read this column, that the investigation has reached completion, or they've achieved something here. They've been persistent, and then the news comes out here. So this is column February. Well, it's long awaited. Small here with child, and then charges here. And then book sits on ship, which is 3. 3. And then he sits on Storks, which is 17 reduced down to 8. And then he's got 8 here, but it's like three, maybe. Because I see the conspiracy here, calling or making the phone call to several places, the obstruction of a legal proceeding this way, conspiracy. Those are the closest to Tower. Scythe sits on Lilies. Scythe is 10, reduces down to 1. 30 reduces down to 3. And then this sits on 3. I'd be pissed if it's only 3. Like, seriously, they should just pile that shit on. This way, on a line of influence, fraudulent results, agreements to obstruct. Okay, fraudulent results that are based on a lie, because this sits on snake. Agreement to obstruct with the loyalist here. And then the results of the loyalist here, which it could be around, God, it would be insane if it was like 20 people. Hold on. This way it's showing that he has a very hard time learning. And he's extremely emotional this way. But he's wanting access to fame and fortune. Key sits, Moon sits on house key, and he's got key here. But there's a loss right below him. But then there's something new that comes up. Even though he does have a very difficult time getting it off the ground. Very difficult time getting it off the ground. And also the large group of people that support him, that are loyal to him, that diminishes, and they distance here. So it's like his support is shrinking around this time frame here. Around November, there's something that happens around November where his support diminishes considerably. It's not as big as it was. House sits on birds, and birds is right next to it on child. Mountain on garden, ring on mountain. This is the whole, the heart of this tableau is talking about the entire conspiracy to delay and obstruct the transition and cancel it here. People within his own structure, the network of people that were in agreement. That network is in some deep shit. If I look at this as the network, the loyalists are crapping their pants. They're very nervous, very, very nervous, significantly nervous about being found out. This is the network. Okay. The entourage that was meeting in a promise to obstruct, you got, oh, that's interesting. House sits on birds, and birds is right next to it. So it's reiterating. The small meetings that were had with the entourage here, small meetings and new meetings. Moose, stop. Moose. And those that were in agreement to for innocence. Okay. We're talking impeachment because impeachment is here, even though he's out of office, but whatever. Mountain sits on garden, and then ring sits on mountain. So the agreement with that network to obstruct in all the meetings that they had, that's central here. September, October. This is November. This is December, but it sits right at the heart of it. And it's saying up here, winter. So by November, we're already heading into winter. And then this is well into the birds is also winter time as well. And that's winter. So December, and this is winter, and that's winter. Okay. So, if this is the network that was in agreement to delay here for the elections here, to establish, secure, and make permanent power. If you look, these people, whatever they're hoping and wishing for right here, they're going to hit a roadblock. There may be something going on with that network of people as well, where they may be trying to block the public or trying to block from getting to them. The answer is within the network of loyalists. If I read those three, whatever secrets they kept, key sits on book, is exposed. Garden sits on letter. The results, the emails, messages, licenses, voicemails, emails, what else? Drafts, memos, sticky pads, whatever, from the loyalist here. And then the people that were loyal to him. Moon sits on key. Significant people who are quite, well, they're going to be infamous because Moon is fame. Sits on key, significant fame, which is different than celebrity. These people were seeking fame, career motivated, but it's for like, I don't want to really say career, because it's not like they were doing it for their job. It's like they're doing it for their own fame here. And then mice sits right next to it on fish. The nervous many, like crapping their pants. And that closes this box here. Exposure of the loyalist with sun on dog, dog on man back here. Exposure. The people that were very energetic and that wanted him to triumph, exposure there. The problems that they caused in the House, perhaps within the Congress too, by causing that big uproar and stir. They're pooping their pants. And that sits on fish. The many, same way of thinking, and then they get exposure here as well, because it goes back to stars, widespread social network and a widespread amount of people that were of like mind. But also, if I look, I think I talked about that already. His rallies, if well, it doesn't show him traveling because ship is way over here. I mean, he may be traveling this way. Diminishing rallies, loyalist diminishes. I don't see money here. I don't see it. Perhaps trying to raise money through his celebrity, but that comes under attack and it comes to an end. Whatever he values here, business-wise, perhaps through things that are of recurring payments. No, sir. Also, there may be problems with the loyalist because if garden sits on letter and letter sits over tower. So if we're talking RNC here, it's losing. It's losing money. He steals from them here. He's taking away from them. He knights here, and then it's got mice right underneath it. So he's taken away from the RNC here, but also he's losing with whatever his organizations or parties. This could also be in reference to inauguration, Trump campaign here, because it's where there's a large group of people. It's missing and losing stuff here. And the results of that is fraudulent. There's also something, let me see, did I follow that one? It goes garden to letter, fox, snake, whip, coffin, ring, mountain, and then back here. So the only difference, it's the same as the line for the charges, except backwards. Because the line for the charges goes this way. Here it goes this way. Moose, stop. Now, if I read garden, because this is such a large body of people, if I read garden as campaigning, because there's no money coming into this thing. If anything, it's showing that it's losing money because mice sits on fish. So if this has some, and raising money is way over here, which as time goes, there might be a fight over the money that was gifted to this organization from people that trust him. See what I'm saying? That are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and emotionally unstable. Okay? That shows up way over here around March, that there may be a legal fight in regards to the money that he raised for the Stop the Steal. Yeah, that there might be a problem coming up down the road with that. But here it's looking like, if this is the campaign, you know how he's been raising money for the what's the new campaign that he has now? It's supposed to be for him to fight legal fees. What is that called? No, Moose doesn't need to go out. He goes out by himself. He's got a doggy door. The Save America pack, is that what it is, Diana? Because he's got a pack right now, right? Where they're all donating to him and they're not donating crap to the RNC. Yeah, because if that's that, there's going to be a problem there as well, because the mail that is being sent is fraudulent. They are repeating lies about a loss, and then there's a big problem here about reaching that agreement. That agreement cannot be reached. And then on this last column, it shows fighting over money, fighting over business. That was gifted, if that makes sense. Yeah, now they have that stupid Trump card, Lori Kettle. Have you seen that? It looks like just like the eagle on the Nazi thing, the Third Reich thing. So there could be a problem coming up with that too. Because it's a pattern of fraud and lies. And then this thing here, because of a pattern of fraud and lies, ends, closes. And then the agreement is not reached, it's delayed. So that's the campaign, or the whatever, the pack, whatever the hell he's got going on. That eventually closes because of a pattern of lying and fraud here in the middle. And that becomes a problem. Because that's what I'm saying over here. There's fights over money, and fighting over perhaps donations here. And then there's this woman, which it's supposed to be, what's her face? Melania. Because woman is supposed to be the person, your significant other. Those are the rules to the tableau. Well, if you look here, they're not happy. They're not happy at all. At all. At all. She sits on moon. Bouquet sits on heart. Moon sits on coffin, and he sits on storks. It's like this shit is done. And then over here, there's a family secret around a broken marriage, and it shows she's distant, you know, very distant. But he doesn't, it's like he's not even concerned about that. He's concerned about this. Add a chance to get back. Okay, let me see. But yeah, his family is screwed. As well as his properties. Okay, let me see. What's this? Okay. Repeated lies, chronic lying. Okay, child on clover, book on ship, clouds on house, cross on scythe, snake on whip, house on birds, sun on dog, clover on tower, and then what is this? Mountain on garden. A new project that is going to be very problematic. It causes problems for the family, as well as causes problems quite literally to his properties. There is a lot of suffering because of his repeated lying, and the family as well, repeatedly lying about his properties, repeatedly lying, and his family as well lying. That's causing a lot of problems in the family life, and just an obstacle after obstacle after obstacle, because there's no luck here at all. It's like his properties are just, this sits on garden because house is here, property. Negotiating and talking about property. Also family conversations, family meetings, but we're going to look at this as property. Mountain on garden. This could be quite literally a lot of land where there's mountains, and it can also mean that a lot of land has a shit ton of problems. So perhaps parks of some sort. And then trying to figure out some sort of an agreement to relieve those issues. This way, it's almost like there's going to be some serious difficulty reaching payments for properties this way. Improvement is very difficult and burdensome. Painful trouble in regards to family. This could be like bill collectors calling to attain payment here. Stars sits on clouds. Cloud sits on house. Damn. If this is in regards to those stupid little trump cards, because, you know, it's on paper, we can look at letter for that. It's almost like this is a new grift here. That's fraudulent. It's going to cause him problems. But it's a way to try to secure, to achieve something with his finances. But it's losses. You got Rider on mice. It's like, oh, we have this great idea. Make a trump card. Let people see how patriotic you are. But it's almost like the result of that whole thing is a loss. Rider sits on mice. Mice goes back to fish. It's a loss of business, losing consulting work, losing independence, losing abundance, losing prosperity. There may be another thing here where they try to come up with a new business venture, perhaps something online, with because fish sits on stars, and stars is followed by, what do you call this, letter? So perhaps like new mailers, emails. But again, a loss that way and a loss this way. Fish is far from him. Not good. Not good. Right around this time here, when I follow him this way, he's going to start giving the cold shoulder to people in the network as they start falling, as they start getting in trouble. With Mountain here, exposure of the loyalist, the win in the governments, or having luck in the government, and there he is, Mountain on Garden, giving them the cold shoulder. Distancing. A lot of trouble, if I look at this, within the network of people, those that that chronically lie on his behalf, that are within his entourage, and also within his family, trying to find some sort of a resolution to the problem, but they distance. And also, party loyal distance. Okay, so if I look at this for charges, it's telling me 3. If I look here at Tower, it's 2, double. And then Clover sits on Tower. Clover sits on Tower. Clover sits on Tower. And this says 3. But 3 goes back to woman. Clover on Tower. Tower on Crossroads. Which is a double. Double. Crossroads is 22, so 2 plus 2 is 4. Oh shit, I missed all this. Hold on. Let me see. Why is Pinterest being stupid? Okay. Mm-mm-mm. 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 Hey, you guys, give me a second. I'm gonna run downstairs real quick and refill my water jug because I drank it all. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, guys, I'm back. Hey, I have a question. I looked on the interwebs today on the Google machine, and it said that aphids don't fly. Is that true? Is that true? Do aphids fly? Because I looked it up and it said no. They have no wings? Okay, because there's like a bunch of like tiny little flying bugs all over the night blooming jasmine. But because they open up at night, I just figured they're like night bugs, because it smells so good. So I don't know what little bugs those are. Well, they're kind of reddish looking, I think. So, bye, Linda. Mature aphids can be wingless or have wings. Okay, because I just sprayed the crap out of them. No, they're not. I don't think they're fruit flies. I mean, they're tiny, tiny, tiny. I'll do that, Mother Earth, because I have a bunch of seeds for marigolds. Yeah, I did that today, Karen. I did that today. It was buried under a mountain of suds. Okay. So, back to where I was at. This column here, January. Right? Yeah, January. And this is saying winter. So I'm thinking around January, there's a referral. There's a referral to the courts for him around January. Around June, it's looking when he has to go make an appearance. When he has to go visit. If I'm interpreting this correctly. But it's like these people have to get caught first. And that looks around August, September, October, November. Around November, December, because of this right here. And then January, there's like a referral. for him. And then he goes this way in June. Wait, May. June. Yes, okay. So a possible referral around January for him to the courts. Thank you, Sunflower. I think he's going to get 2. I asked again, how many criminal charges will he face? That's double, or 2. And this sits on 2. This, well, Crossroads sits on 22. And that's double. Crossroads sits on Anchor. Let me ask it this way. Yes. Obstruction. Mountain. Something here about a conspiracy. Because it's an agreement to defraud here. Suspicious agreement. Which makes it interesting because this, we'll see. I have the notes. I don't get shit right all the time. I'm going to say it again. I've been wrong plenty of times. I have the book. I have the notes. This looks like it's going to take a long time, closer to around February, maybe, because Lily sits on writer and writer's over here. In this column for February. What I find interesting is that in Mark Meadows' it was showing up on under book, and book was around letter, and it was around crossroads and mice, and his just happened to show up 2 as well, and Meadows landed on Clover, which is 2. On his, I'm having to look at Tower. But on Meadows, I had to look under book. And what's weird here too, I don't see insurrection here, because Storks is far, far away. The people with the weapons is far, far away. There's the friends that traveled to a rally. But then here's Scythe, which is danger, but Whip is way up here, which is an attack. Aggression, fighting. So it's looking more along the lines of the phone calls that were made and the meetings that were had to obstruct. And here it's saying obstruction. There's something here about fraud, quite possibly also investigations. And then there's the ring. So obstruction or a delay, suspicious agreement or a suspicious promise, or something that was suspicious and fraudulent, and there's the resolution. How else can I ask this? Also, Tower sits on crossroads, double. Clover sits on Tower. Clover's number 2. And it has to do with an agreement here to delay and obstruct. In these 4. What do you mean, Diana? Diana's saying it makes sense from a criminal law perspective. There is direct proof. Because there's proof of this in the public record. The phone calls that were made, the pressuring here with Mountain Pressure to make an agreement to pressure lawmakers here. Hi, Connie. But the other stuff is iffy because it doesn't land close. It doesn't land close at all. There's something, if this is what he said, because Birds talks about speech, okay? What he said at a rally, well, it doesn't knight to garden. You can only get it to talk on the diagonal, but it's stopped here by Mountain. And what's directly next to it is Tower. So there may be something that's lawful, written in law, that offers some sort of protection to what was said, if that makes any sense. So the whole thing with the rally, it's like it's too far. I can't make it fit. The phone calls, though, those are on record, and there's several. And quite possibly, maybe, as time moves forward this way, we'll find out more and more and more and more, and it grows and it metastasizes, and it may be a total of 13 because this sits on child. Now, from these interviews that are being had with people that were in agreement, for this whole scheme, the results that are provided show that it has been achieved independently. And then the referral comes in this way. If I read this as a referral, because a referral would be written, correct? The referral of an investigation or a referral to investigate, because letter sits on Fox. And then we went over that chain. Fox sits on snake. Snakes goes to whip. That goes to coffin. That goes to ring and mountain. And then garden. Now, garden here could be a committee as well. If I read that chain, let me see. Let me read that chain again. No. Letter. Fox. Snake. Snake, dirty bastard. Whip. Coffin. Ring. Ring, mountain, garden. This is where there is a large body of people. But these don't talk. And then it goes this way. So it's like the result of an investigation about chronically lying about a loss in an agreement to obstruct goes public, a network, a community, some sort of congregation, a board. And then this way, the results of this network of people, this congregation of people, the results of that get investigated, and they find that there was an agreement to obstruct. Now, Where's Tower? Did I pull Tower? No, I did not. Let me find it. Okay, so it goes Tower, Crossroads, Anchor, 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 Anchor. There. Cross. Scythe. Lilies. Rider. Nice. Fish. Stars. Clouds. House. Birds. Child. 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 Clover. And then it goes back to Tower. So that's the chain around the Tower when I follow it around. Okay. Let's see. Then it goes man, storks. Okay. Heart. Sun. Dog. Okay. Okay, so looking at stuff, Tower as legal. There's going to be several courts that are going to like dig in their heels and have a very powerful, very heavy verdict. When that news comes out, it's going to make people shit their pants. Their hope of independence and success and being able to do the consulting work, their businesses, everything takes a hit. That success is not certain. And then the family starts getting nervous and starts hoping for a small win. His finances are not going to be good. His properties are not going to be good. There's something that comes out of the courts this way. The court decides, or the court has to choose, several courts choose about the stability here with his finances, but then they become burdened, and then there's a rupture here. And long-awaited news, perhaps around the winter, of losses. Financial losses, financial corruption, financial burdens, serious financial difficulties. His success and his entrepreneurship and businesses and his independence, consulting, shopping, all of that comes under a huge amount of trouble, as well as the properties. And you may hear a lot about family discussions, as well as people within his family, as well as his properties, that there's only a tiny bit of hope. Tiny bit of hope. It's a tiny, 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 tiny small win. Also, the decisions from the courts is small, possibly with 2 here. But it gives him serious financial burdens and losses over a long period of time. This right here, I followed his chain around, and it's looking like he's going to try to stay optimistic, and happy and joyful, and pretend like there's nothing wrong, because all he desires is vitality, it's energy, and loyalty. Also, he's probably also desiring for the loyalist here to have his back because of his line. Because here it shows that he's improving. There's an improvement for him about how he's feeling, and what he desires, what he most wants is success and loyalty here. That's his chain around everything. And also the exposure of his allies. But this way, he's fucked, man. Like fucked. Like he's gonna get lucky here that the charges is only gonna be small. Let me see here. Now this is a few institutions, so I can't tell you which one is which, because it's Tower and Crossroads, so a legal decision, as well as several institutions here. As a thing, this would be bureaucracy, legal buildings, government, schools. If it's in regards to property, it's a property that has a lot of residences inside. If this is in regards to Trump org, or, because there's several of them here. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Several of these institutions. So if it's in regards to Trump org, that he has so many of them, and they're all linked to property and their property, he's fucked. I mean, look at this. Finances. Burdens. A sudden rupture and a loss. Long-awaited news of losses. That's a loss. This is a loss. This is a loss. The business success, absolutely uncertain. Bad. Bad, 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 bad. I mean, he'll get lucky if he comes out of there with a couple of properties, which is weird because this is property. This here, negotiations, communications, interviews, also a couple, meaning an older couple, like a man and a woman, older in age. Okay. Little luck. He'll get lucky if he gets to keep 2. properties, because this is just ruin, financial ruin, losses. And his business ventures are just FUCKED. If I'm reading this as Trump org, because there's so many of them. If these are properties, they're small. They're small. They're not big. I mean, small in regards to like in comparison to all his other gaudy stuff, you know. How else can I read that? What did Freda say? Oh, she's saying something Lucky Girl said. Give him one of the apartments in Jared Kushner, the slumlord. Let him live there with rats and everything else. You can go live at his slumlord son-in-law's properties. Even his line of fate is talking about serious financial problems and burdens and losses, and you're just FUCKED. But like I said, he tries to stay pretty optimistic and happy, and nothing to see here. That's his line. Man improves his happiness, desires, energetic or successful or bright loyalty and friendliness. Until the shit hits the fan. That's if I read it in regards to Trump org. Now, this is Trump org. Look what sits right there. Snap. News of losses in thievery and criminality, with writers sitting on mice, just like it shows up here. What's funny though, let me see, let me look at this again. This, it's almost looking like this is almost looking from this chain and the way that this tableau opens And his corners were talking about, his corners are lost, y'all. Look. Long awaited, or something that needs a very long period of time to mature. And then there's fighting. Whip sits on coffin, chronic losses. A career woman, or an emotional woman, a woman of high honors here, with woman sitting on, what card is this? Woman sits on moon. And then here you have losses. His corners are losses, 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 losses. And then we talked about what was at the core, and we talked about this being about all the stuff that's going on right now in the Congress with the sycophants, that we're all in agreement with him to obstruct the results of the election and cling on to power. That's going on. But we also discussed how there may be some family concerns and a lot of chit chat and nervousness within the family right now as they're discussing significant, huge problems with property. And because of that, it's almost like, it's like both of those timelines are running parallel. And it's almost like it just, based on this right here, it's almost like all of that news that's been anticipated and we've been waiting on, it's just like one after the other, after the other, after. It's almost like one and then another and then another. And then, do you see what I'm saying? Because the corners here are talking about repeated chronic losses. Chronic. Just getting a freaking beating. Having your ass beat. Big time. And then here, it's saying that all this stuff, this financial stuff that's coming, that has been long awaited, it looks like it's closer perhaps to winter time here with lilies. We've been waiting on it for a long, long time. Also, as well as perhaps a judge that has come to some sort of decision. But there's financial burdens and losses here. And then again, with the problems down here. And then the worriness, the nervousness of perhaps two kids as well in the family. And they'll get lucky if they end up with just a little bit, a small win, a little bit of property. And perhaps they have very small hope as well with these two. There's several things here in the courts. If there is any, even though he's all optimistic right now from that chain I showed you guys, because this right here is talking about several things that he's got going on in court. It's several. We're looking at what he's got going in New York with Tish James and Cy Vance. You got what's going on in Georgia, that they're investigating him for election interference. You got the House Oversight Committee investigating him. I don't know if they're going to be transferring him to the special committee or if it's going to stay in the Oversight Committee. You have the Senate investigating him for all the crap he did. There's so many courts. There are so many courts that I can't tell you which one is which based on this line. but it's saying that all of the decisions come out and they don't come out in his favor. He'll get lucky if it's only 2, if it's minor. Do you see what I'm saying? A small win. He'll get lucky for a small win. If there was any hope, because Clover is hope to be in office again. Let me see if this goes the same way. Let me see. Clover to Tower to Crossroads to Anchor to Bear to Cross, Scythe, Lilies, Rider, Mice, Fish, Stars, Clouds, House, Birds. Where's birds? Birds. Child. And then Child goes back to Clover. If he was hoping, to get back into office for the elections, no, sir. You're going to be running from the law. You're going to be running from the law. Because if he hopes to be here, Clover hope, Tower ambitions, but also government for the elections to maintain and achieve power, hell no. Hell no. It gets messed up right here. It's too far off. And then by the time it comes around, he's already losing. He's losing here. Hope and success and abundance and prosperity, no. That becomes extremely uncertain. No, Marie. Or Mother Earth, I'm sorry. So he may have his head all up in the clouds. Wait till the shit hits the fan. Because that's not even... Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. And then finally on his line of fate, he's got Moon, Mice, Crossroads, and Bear. This Moon sits on Key. Mice sits on Fish. Crossroads sits on Anchor. Bear sits on, what is that cross? Under a significant amount of stress, emotionally freaking out because of serious financial burdens. No, feisty. It's more like he knew about it, because this is also knowledge. He knew about the travel. The visitors that are purist, little people, and knowledge about travel. But this is also in regards to a long-awaited new project that he may be working on, but it's a distant thing. So yeah, that's his line of fate. He's effed up. So he can sit there and talk all he wants about running in 24, but no, because by January, there's a referral, if I'm reading this correctly. And then by June, he may be in court litigating. Because there's a woman here. A couple of them. There's two, quite possibly two women here, career women that are looking at him in regards to elections. He has loyalists in government here. And also lawyers. This here would be in legal investigations. Also, quite possibly agents within an institution that are covert, like a trap. Fox is a trap. And then there's stuff that's growing within the legal system, in a couple of them. So here's business. Family business here, condos, a family business that has to do with some sort of an institution, or it's part of a corporation, but it's a family business. House knighting to tower, tower knighting to fish. Tower sits on crossroads. It also knights to crossroads. And then this way, this is sustained, prolonged legal disputes. Also, if I read crossroads as poles, losses in the poles with mice here, several losses in the poles. So, hey, Rondell. That's what I'm getting, you guys. It's like 10 o'clock here. I got to get to bed. I have the notes if I need to bring them back up, which I probably will. So that's what I get. So this comes out first, and then there's the referral here. if I'm reading it correctly. If I am interpreting it correctly. Quite possibly we'll find out that there's been more phone calls or meetings that were had. To try to disrupt or change the results, or to say that the results were fraudulent because you have letter sitting on Fox. Results, Fox, fraud, manipulated. I would also not be surprised. This right here. I would not be surprised if there's a company that has to do with voting, that has electronics or, electronic internet stuff, that is classified or secret, and they have a win in court. I would not be surprised, because this knight's here. If he also got sued for chronically lying about the loss in the voting machines, along with everybody else that was spewing the bullshit. How many people have been sued by Dominion? Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell. Oh, thanks, Marby. Do you guys remember who else has been sued by Dominion besides Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell? My Pillow guy. That's 3. Three. They sued Fox. That's 4. I wouldn't be surprised if they go after him too. Sunflower, it's half a dozen or more. Newsmax today. Okay, so we have Sidney Powell, Rudy Giuliani, My Pillow, Fox News, Newsmax. I have 5. Dominion suing OANN, Newsmax, former CEO of Overstock, and Fox. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets tied up in that, because this mirror's here, that mirror's here, that mirror's here. And it shows financial penalties here because of stuff that had to do with losing an election. And if I follow this up, it goes here. That goes here. But these two mirrored are like laptops and all that stuff. And then a win in court, several courts here. But lawsuits are hitting it at a diagonal. Lying about the results here. The results are fraudulent here. The female lawyer's name was Sidney Powell. Oh, yeah. Eric Swalwell's suing him, too. Thank you for reminding. He's getting fucking sued by everybody, dude. By everybody. And this is just showing losses after 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 losses. What is interesting in this tableau is that I don't see taxes. Not clearly. Because the house is trying to get them right now, correct? And his lawyers are fighting in court to trying to block the house from getting his taxes. Well, finances are down here. Institutions with finances is over here. Business, independence, prosperity, abundance, shopping, transactions, all that is over here. And gardens over here. I don't see taxes at all in this tableau. So the house getting its taxes, if I'm interpreting this correctly, and, you know, because I miss stuff all the time too, that's the least of his worries. That's the least of his worries. I just can't believe this man gaslit himself. I can't believe it. Because when I was reading the that book, I Alone Can Fix It, he knew, like, they had been telling him since around March or April that his polling was terrible. And then when Joe Biden won the nomination, whenever that was, everybody on his campaign was telling him that he was behind, he was going to lose. Barr told him he was going to lose. His campaign managers told him he was going to lose. Everybody was telling him he was going to lose. And he, according to the book, he was pissed off and was saying, like, there's no way I can lose to this fucking guy. Words in the book, not mine. So he had been told from when Biden won the nomination. And then he got to work setting up all these booby traps, delaying the mail, putting into Joy, doing all that. All the booby traps were set, you know, to try to give himself the advantage and the favor, and he still lost. And then he went crazy because they stole it from him. You were the one that was actively cheating. You know what I mean? It's like, I just can't believe this guy gaslit himself. He is that fucking crazy. But with Coffin here, that means he's not well. He is not well. And Tree is right up in its own house. Even though it's far from him, it still sits in its own house. And Tree is health and growth. And he's got Coffin right here. And then he's got Whip and House Coffin, chronic illness. Chronic illness. Let me see. What was his line again? Let me see. It was man. Storks. Bouquet. Bouquet, bouquet, bouquet. Heart, sun, dog. So man, storks, bouquet, heart, sun, dog. This is a person that tries to increase, improve, add to, move up. And then here with bouquet, this would be like your talents. So with these, I would say that his narcissism increases because he views himself greater than his talents. Here, with heart, sun, and dog, he's increasing his own view of his own talents, that he's loved and exceptionally successful. And everybody loves him, and he's got followers everywhere. But it's almost like his narcissism increases because here with the storks is always talking about an increase. And this is gifts and talent. Beauty. So this, he increases his beauty. So he improves his beauty. He increases it. He changes his beauty. So see what I'm saying about narcissism here? So it's, and then this is talking about something with health, and this is saying chronic illness. This column here, man, key, moon. The moon is your reputation, your honors, it's creativity, it's seduction, it's emotion. And it's how other people see you. The face you put out into the world, your personality. And it's like he sees himself greater than what he is. And that may be what's like, this goes up, how he sees himself, how he tries to elevate his talents, that increases and perhaps causes chronic illness here that just grows in regards to his health, if that made any sense. So we'll see. Let me see something on Meadows real quick while I'm here. And if I look at Meadows as well, let me see how this goes. 19 to 35. 19 to 35. To 6. 12. Seven. 21. Just mountain. 11. Here's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if book or letter give the charges, and then tower, because tower is the legal system, is what comes out of it, like the official thing. Because if that's the case, it's still ending with 2 for Meadows. And when I had gone over this the other day, I was thinking 4, but then it gets reduced down to 2. And if I look at letter as being the charges, it's letter on crossroads followed by crossroads. So 2 of these plus 2 of these, and then take away. Crossroads is also divided in half, which gives you 2 here. And he sits on 2. So I don't know. We'll have to see which way it is. And at least I'll learn from that, because, you know, I get shit wrong too all the time, you guys. I'm not perfect. So, and he's got tower here on crossroads too. So we shall see. We shall see. Well, thank you everybody for hanging out. I'm going to try to get my ass to bed because it's late. It's 10 o'clock. So I know you guys over on the East Coast are probably like, get off the damn computer, woman. So thank you everybody for hanging out. I want to say thank you everybody for all the super chats. I still got to do that Clark guy and a few others. So I'll try to get to them when I can. So thank you everybody. Make sure to hit the thumbs up on your way out if you have not already. And I will see you guys next time. Okay, y'all have a wonderful evening. Bye.